Thanks for joining FrostySith channel today, where we're on the 6th installment of the Keto Trail series, where we bring you backpacking meals that are good hot and they're good cold soaked. This one's no different. Tom Kha Gai soup, which is a Thai chicken soup, and let's dive right in and mix this up. Keto Trail installment number 6 for the Tom Kha Gai, which is really just a chicken soup for the trail, using typically coconut cream in it and lime and some other spices, lemongrass, which is out of season here in my market area, so we won't be using it today. But let's jump into what goes into the recipe, and then we're going to vacuum seal it up. So I've already measured out 28 grams of Mountain House freeze-dried chicken. So that's just the standard stuff that we've been using in these keto backpacking meals. And then we have a number of other ingredients that go into this, starting with this white stuff here is coconut milk powder, and there's 3 tablespoons of that. We've got this slightly yellower granulated product is the coconut oil powder, and we have 4 scoops or 40 grams of that from Perfect Keto. And then we've got the salty stuff over here. We've got the Knorr chicken bouillon granules right here, and this is really sodium heavy on the salt, and that's 1 teaspoon of the Knorr. And then the white stuff on top is a 1/4 teaspoon of potassium chloride, no salt brand. And that's what's in here, and I've just separated them out so the video would go a little quicker and it would be easier to talk about than you watching me measure things out. So in this bowl, we've got in the bottom is 11 grams of dried vegetables. What would really be good, there's a frozen product that has sliced Brussels sprouts and cabbage and other vegetables in it that would be really good, but I'm out of that right now. So I'm going with the 3 pepper blend and onions on the bottom, 11 grams, so 2 cups equivalent. Use whatever vegetables you like. Then on top of that, we've got freeze-dried chives, which is the green, and just to the right of that we've got minced onion, and so that's 2 teaspoons of chives, 1 teaspoon of the minced onion, and then we've got a tablespoon, so there's the minced onion, and a tablespoon of freeze-dried garlic. So that's what's in this container. And lastly, we've got some spices, which include ground ginger, which is the lighter colored yellow product. And then we've got the orange colored stuff that you see there is turmeric. And so the ginger is 1/2 teaspoon of ginger, and the turmeric is a 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric. And then we've got 8 grams of lime juice powder here, and then we have 1/2 teaspoon of dried cilantro leaves here. And so really it's pretty simple at this point. We take everything, put it in a vacuum bag, vacuum it up, and we're ready to pack it up for this weekend's trip. Let's do that. All right, so we've got our vacuum bag. Put our 28 grams of chicken in that. Start adding our powdered products. Vegetables and spices. And we're ready to vacuum seal it and label it and take it out on the trail. All right, let's go vacuum it up and I'll be back. Okay, there it is, all vacuum sealed up and labeled, and that'll pack away in the food bag real nice, and it's going to be delicious. On to nutritional stuff. Okay, we're over here at cronometer.com, cronometer.com, and you would need to log into your account, go to the food tab, and if you want to see this kind of information, you'll have to create a custom recipe in your account like I have here for the Tom Kha Gai Thai chicken soup. And so we're going to take just a couple minutes and review the macro information in both grams and percent caloric value from fat, protein, and net carbohydrates. So to begin with, the total caloric value of this recipe is about 625 calories. If we punch up the calculator, we'll be able to take the weight in grams of each of fat, protein, and net carbohydrate, which is the total minus the dietary fiber, and multiply by the calories per gram and then divide by the total calories to get the percentage of calories of each macro component. And so let's just start, for example. So we have 49.8 grams of total fat over in the nutritional information in Cronometer, and we know that there's 9 calories per gram. So if we multiply those grams by 9 calories, we get the total calories in this recipe from fat, which is 448.2. If we divide that by the total calories in the recipe, 624.8, then we find out this recipe has about 72% of its calories coming from fat. The 2 decimal number would be 71.73%. And then if we take a look at protein, we have 27.2 grams of protein. There are only 4 calories per gram of protein. So if we multiply those grams by 4 calories per gram, we get 108.8 calories from protein. And if we divide that by 624.8, the total calories, we find that the percent of calories coming from protein in this recipe is almost 17.5%. And then on the carbohydrates, there's one extra step we need to do. So if we look at the nutritional information, there's 29.5 grams of total carbohydrate. Your body can't use the dietary fiber except for the gut bugs. It feeds them, but your body doesn't use it as nutrient or calories. And so we subtract from 29.5, the total carbs, the dietary fiber. And so subtract 10.8 from the 29.5, and we find that there's 18.7 grams of total carbohydrate in this recipe. And we know that there are 4 calories per gram of net carbohydrate. And so we multiply that, and we get that there's almost 75 calories coming from net carbs. And then if we divide by the total calories, we learn that there's about 12% of this recipe from net carbohydrates. And so this hits all the marks for me of a good keto recipe. We're getting over 70% of our calories from fat, only 12% from carbs. And because this recipe is intended to be used in the backcountry and you're going to be exerting a lot of calories, a lot more than you normally would be, you're going to be okay with taking in 18.7 net carbohydrates. I mean, it's not going to interrupt anything severely. So now let's take a look at the major electrolytes in this recipe, which are the sodium and the potassium. And so sodium's coming in at 1.3 grams, and potassium is coming in right at 1 gram. And we could bump that up pretty easily, and probably without making it too salty, too savory tasting, by doubling the potassium chloride. We could increase the potassium and actually make it a better ratio of potassium to sodium for your body than what we're currently at. And I might do that sometime and taste it, but this works good. I know it's taste tested. One of the things to be careful about is it's real easy to think that just adding more of the chicken bouillon will really help you out, and it certainly will make it more savory, but it's almost entirely sodium chloride, or it is sodium chloride is what the salt in that is, and so it's really going to jack up your sodium and really throw this ratio out of whack. It's going to be nowhere close to 1-to-1, or preferably your potassium would be higher than sodium, but it's definitely going to throw that out of whack. So just be mindful of that when you're doing this, and probably be a lot easier just to add a 1/4 teaspoon of the salt substitute. And as usual, there's a detailed breakdown of a lot of other nutritional information that Chronometer provides, but those are the major things that we're focused on. So let's go take a look now at how it mixes up in the field and see what the taste test is. We're going to go ahead and hydrate some of the meals and get them soaking and hydrating, and then we're going to go do the Ancient Trails loop and check out some of that and just kind of explore. Here we go. This one is the Tom Kha Gai, and we're going to go ahead and get that one hydrating. I've never had one of those leak, but there's always time for a first. All right, so we're back from some hiking and lounging around in the 90-degree heat here at Toronto Reservoir at, what is this? Cross Timber State Park at Toronto Reservoir. So my hiking buddy forgot her shaker jar. So this has been hydrating for a couple hours now, and it's pretty much ready to go. So we're going to go ahead and put it into this container, which is her hiking mess kit, and let that soak while we go on another hike, and put my liver and onion backpacker recipe in the soaker jar and let it hydrate, and hopefully it should be done when we get back. So that's what we're doing. Tastes good. Yummy. So let's see how this is. So it's been sitting even longer. Because we had just the one shaker jar. We moved this one over. Looks really good. Definitely a hearty soup. It's really savory. I like it. We'll see if Jen likes it. We'll have like the old Mike. Does Mikey like it? We'll do that. See if she'll eat it. But I think it's great. The vegetables all hydrated real nice, and the chicken is really good texture. So bon appetit. Okay, so we're done eating dinner, and now it's time to clean up our bowls. And I've talked to you a little bit before about, you know, cleaning up after you eat, and so we're just gonna show you. So this is the bowl that had the tom kha gai soup in it, and I've added a little bit of drink to the bowl after eating it. And we're just gonna make sure that we get all that stuck onto the side into the water. And then drink it. Bon appetit. This is one of the better ones. So it's not perfect, but it's pretty good. And with just a few more moments of tongue work, this will all be good to go. And in the backcountry, of course, this goes in the bear bag.